As you can see here, this is what we call passing table. In passing table, we have an entry for each terminal and non-terminal combination. We'll be having some entries. Okay, this entry is nothing but a production rule. Production rule. Okay. So in predictive passing table, what we are trying to do here is whenever you have E on top of the stack and ID being the next input symbol or the current input symbol, then we are going to apply this rule. This rule. Okay. So whenever E on top of the stack and the current input symbol is ID, then your parser will look into the parsing table entry corresponding to E with ID, E with the current top of the stack with the current input symbol. So for that entry we have for this entry we have E dash T dash. That means we are going to expand E with T dash. Okay, while expanding, what we have to insert the right hand side of the expression or the production rule in reverse order. Okay, so if you enter the string in reverse order, then what happens is the leftmost symbol appears on top of the stack. Okay, so you have to insert your right hand side of the production rule in such a way that the leftmost symbol appears on top of the stack. That is the reason why we are inserting it in a reverse order. Okay, so let me take a small example so that it will be more clear to you. So let me take ID plus ID, ID plus ID followed by dollar. Okay, this is our input. Let us start with an empty stack. Okay, usually in table driven LL1 parser, first we'll insert the starting symbol of the grammar, that is E, onto the stack. So this is the initial configuration. Your read head points to the leftmost symbol of the input buffer, and the current top of the stack is E. Now the LL1 predictive parser, it will look into the current top of the stack symbol and the current input symbol. Okay, based on this, it will look into the entry in the passing table. Okay, so E with ID, for E with ID we have this T dash. So what do we have to do? We have to pop off E and expand it with T dash. T dash must be inserted in reverse order. Okay. Now after inserting T dash in reverse order, T exposed to be the new top of the stack. Right. Now the current input symbol is T, and the current top of the stack is T, and the current input symbol is ID. T with ID. What is the rule? FT dash. FT dash. Okay. Now what I have to do? You have to pop off T and expand it with T dash. So let me use the same one, T dash. On top of it, you have to push F. Now the current top of the stack is F, T dash, and E dash. Now F with ID. F with ID. F with ID, we have a production rule. F derives ID. So what I have to do? Now this is the F replace I with ID. Just below it we have T dash. Next to it we have E dash. Okay. Now our input ID exactly matches with the current input symbol. Now pop off this, advance your read head. Next we have T dash. So when you apply T dash, then what happens is there may be a chance of T dash with plus. What is the rule? Plus T dash. Then this plus appears on top of the stack. Okay. Plus get cancelled. Then we'll go to the next step where we are going to expand T T again with F, F again with ID, then we'll get the exact match, right? So if you observe here, how we are getting these entries, E dash with plus, why we are applying this rule? Why? Because of this, if the input symbol is plus, if you start with the plus production rule, if you start with the production rule which exactly matches with the plus, then there is a chance of getting the right match. Okay, so plus plus మనకు కరెంట్ అపోజిట్ సింబల్ ప్లస్ ఉంది అనుకోండి, కరెంట్ ఇన్పుట్ సింబల్ కూడా ప్లస్ అయితే అప్పుడు ఏమవుతుంది, ఫర్దర్ గా నెక్స్ట్ స్టెప్ వెళ్ళడానికి ఛాన్స్ ఉంటుంది అనమాట మనకు. సో అది రావడం కోసం మనం ఏం చేస్తున్నాం అంటే, నెక్స్ట్ ఇన్పుట్ సింబల్ ప్లస్ అయితే కనుక ఈ స్టాక్ లో ఉండే ప్రొడక్షన్స్ ఏవై ఉండాలి, ఈ ప్లస్ ని డిరైవ్ చేసే ప్రొడక్షన్స్ అయినా ఉండాలి, లేదా ప్లస్ తో స్టార్ట్ అయ్యే ప్రొడక్షన్స్ ఏమైనా ఉండాలన్నమాట, రైట్? సో అలా ఈ టేబుల్ తయారు చేస్తున్నాం అనమాట మనం. ఓకే, ఏ ప్రొడక్షన్ రూల్స్ అయితే నెక్స్ట్ ప్లస్ సింబల్ ని డిరైవ్ చేస్తాయో లేదా ప్లస్ తో స్టార్ట్ అవుతున్నాయో, those production rules you have to use. Okay, now the question is how to prepare this. ఈ డెసిషన్ మనం ఎలా తీసుకుంటాం? కొన్ని ఇక్కడ if you observe here, some table entries are blank here. Blank means there are error conditions. Okay, that means E dash with ID, there is no entry. Whenever on top of the stack you have E dash and the current input symbol is ID, then the parser will simply announce it is a syntax error. There is no further move. Those are treated as syntax errors. All the unfilled entries in the table, parsing table, are considered as syntax errors. Okay, so now we'll see how to construct this table. So this table is the crucial thing here, heart of the any table driven parser. So in this particular case, LL1. Yeah. Okay, LL1 predictive parsing table construction is based on these two functions. Okay, it is aided by two functions called first and follow. Okay, first we'll see the definitions of first and follow, then I will give you the examples. Okay, first we'll see what is first function. Okay, it is defined like this. First is a set of terminals that begins strings derived from right. First is a set of terminals that begins strings derived from the right hand side of the production rules. Say suppose, let me give you an example here. A derives asterisk capital B. Okay, so on the right hand side, this particular production rule right hand side starts with a terminal string, terminal symbol. So okay, this terminal symbol is said to be the first symbol. Okay, first symbol of A. Okay, is a set of terminals that begin strings derived from A. ఓకే, ఏతో డిరైవ్ అయ్యే స్ట్రింగ్స్ ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో వాటిలో ఫస్ట్ సింబల్ ఏదైతే ఉందో, ఓకే, ఏతో ఏం డిరైవ్ అవుతుంది, ఏ డిరైవ్స్ ఆస్ట్రిక్ బి. ఆస్ట్రిక్ బిలో ఫస్ట్ సింబల్ ఏమిటి, ఆస్ట్రిక్. హెన్స్ వీ కెన్ సే ఆస్ట్రిక్ ఇస్ ద ఫస్ట్ సింబల్, ఫస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఏ. ఓకే, సిమిలర్లీ ఇంకొక రూల్ ఉందనుకోండి, ఏ డిరైవ్స్ బీటా ఫాలోడ్ బై సే క్యాపిటల్ ఏ ఉందనుకోండి. ఈ రూల్ నుంచి మనకేం వస్తుంది, first of A is beta. That means asterisk is one symbol and beta is another symbol. Set of all symbols that begins with that begins strings derived from A, right? How to compute this first and follow? We have three rules. Okay, the first rule states that if alpha derives epsilon, then epsilon is in first of A. like if A derives epsilon, A derives epsilon null string in one or more steps, then first of A first of A contains epsilon. Okay. If any non-terminal or any terminal, if it derives, terminals, it doesn't derive any strings. Okay, any non-terminal, if it derives an epsilon, then we can say epsilon is in first of that particular non-terminal. And the second rule states that if we have, say, A derives x1, x2, so on up to xn, then if x1 derives to epsilon, then first of A is first of x2. అంటే ఇలా ఉందనుకోండి, say suppose A derives x1 followed by ABA అని ఉందండి. Let us assume. Then x1 derives to epsilon ఒక రూల్ ఉందనుకోండి. అంటే ఇప్పుడు ఏమైపోతుంది, ఇది ఎప్సిలాన్ అయిపోతుంది కాబట్టి x1 ఎప్సిలాన్ అయిపోతుంది కాబట్టి నెక్స్ట్ కమింగ్ ఇన్పుట్ సింబల్ ఏమిటి, ఏ, అది ఫస్ట్ అవుతుంది అనమాట. ఫస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఏ ఈజ్ స్మాల్ ఏ, రైట్. అలానే ఇక్కడ x2 కూడా ఎప్సిలాన్ అయిపోయింది అనుకోండి, దెన్ we need to consider the first of x3. Right. So in predictive parsing, when we have A derives alpha beta, if first of alpha and first of beta are disjoint sets, then we can select appropriate A production by looking at the next input. So for follow, we have three rules. The default follow for the starting symbol of the grammar is $. Okay. మనం ప్రాసెస్ని ఎప్పుడు ఎండ్ చేస్తామండి, ఎండ్ ఆఫ్ ది ఇన్పుట్ మార్కర్ వచ్చినప్పుడు, నెక్స్ట్ ఇన్పుట్ ఎండ్ ఆఫ్ ది ఇన్పుట్ మార్కర్ వచ్చి మనకు స్టాక్లో కనుక ఈ ఉంటే, అంటే దాని అర్థం ఏమిటి, వీఆర్ డన్ అని. అంటే అక్కడతో మనం ప్రాసెస్ చేసేసాం, LL1 predictive parsing చేసామని, రైట్. సో ద డిఫాల్ట్ ఫాలో ఫర్ E is where E is the starting symbol of the grammar, $. is the default follow. Okay. And the second rule states that if there is a production rule in the form of S derives alpha AA beta, then A, small a follows capital A. Follow of A is small a. Okay. Right. If there is a production rule in the form of S derives A, B, C, okay, then if you are trying to find out the follow of B is nothing but the first of C, but let us assume C derives to epsilon. Then the third rule states that if the follow of B derives to epsilon, then follow of B is in follow of S. Okay. If C derives to epsilon, then follow of B is in follow of S. According to the first rule, we have $. for each and every starting symbol, default follow. So if in any production rule, if a particular symbol, a particular terminal follows the non-terminal, then we'll say that terminal is in follow of that non-terminal. Okay. Here in this particular case, A is said to be small a is said to be the follow of capital A or non-terminal A. If this entire thing leads to epsilon, then if A and beta leads to epsilon, then we will say follow of A is in follow of S. Follow of S. That is the third rule. That is the third rule. Okay. Let us uh, try to compute the first and follows for the given grammar. The grammar is this one. So as I told you earlier, these are the rules. To compute first of x for all grammar symbols x, apply the following rules. There are three rules. Until no more terminals or epsilon can be added to any first set. If x is a terminal, then first of x is itself only. If x is a non-terminal and x derives y1, y2, so on up to yk is a production for some k greater than or equals to 1, then place a in first of x. If for some I, a is first of yi and epsilon is in all of first of y1 so on up to first of yi minus 1 and all its preceding symbols anni kudanu epsilon అయిపోతే then we have to add a as first of x, right? And the third statement, if x derives epsilon, then add epsilon to first of x. For computing follow, to compute first of A for all non-terminals A, apply the following rules until nothing can be added to any follow set. Place dollar in follow of S where S is the slot symbol. This is the default follow for any starting symbol. If there is a projection rule in the form of A derives alpha B beta, then everything in first of beta except epsilon is in follow of B. That is the second rule. If there is a production A derives B or a production A derives alpha B beta where first of beta contains epsilon or first of beta derives to epsilon, then everything in follow of A is in follow of B. So we'll apply these rules so that it will be more clear to you. So by using this first and follow, we'll compute the passing table. So this is the algorithm for constructing the predictive passing table. Predictive parsers are those recursive descent parsers needing no backtracking. Grammars for which we can create predictive parsers are called LL1. The first L means scanning input from left to right. The second L means leftmost derivation, and one stands for using one input symbol for look ahead. This is the algorithm for constructing the predictive passing table. For each production A derives alpha in a grammar, do the following. For each terminal A in first of alpha, add A derives in M A comma A. The entries corresponding to A with all the symbols, we need to add this production rule. A derives alpha. Okay. If epsilon is in first of alpha, then for each terminal B in follow of A, add this null production A derives epsilon to each and every symbol of B, each and every terminal B in follow of A. Okay. So we need to repeat this procedure until we add further, no more terminals. After performing the above, there is no production in M A comma A, then set M A comma A to error. So we'll see so that it will be more clear to you. Now see, we have computed first and follow sets. Okay. What is first of F? First of F is first of alpha. A derives alpha. If you consider A derives alpha, first of A is nothing but first of the right hand side of its expression, right hand side of its production rule. Okay, first of A is nothing but first of alpha. So suppose Let us consider this. F derives open parenthesis E followed by close parenthesis. First of F is open parenthesis. The starting symbol on the right hand side. Okay, here we have open parenthesis. F has another production rule. F derives ID. Okay, so with this, first of A, first of F is first of alpha. First of alpha is ID. No, we have nothing epsilon here. The first starting symbol is ID itself. So we have two first symbols for F. Similarly for T, T derives Ft. Let us consider this production rule. T derives Ft. Okay, and F derives grouping of A and ID. Okay, F derives grouping of E and ID. Since grouping of E will give you the open parenthesis as the start symbol, if you consider the second rule, you will get this ID. Similarly for E, E derives T and T derives F. Finally, we'll get these two only, open parenthesis and ID. Now, what about E dash? For E dash, we have two production rule, E dash with plus T dash. Okay, the first of E dash is first of the right hand side of its production rule, that is plus. You can see here plus. And we have another production rule, E dash with epsilon. Hence, epsilon is in first of E dash. Similarly, T dash. The first symbol is asterisk, and we have another rule. From this second rule, we'll get epsilon, asterisk and epsilon, right? Now coming to follow of F, where F is a non, yeah. Let us consider this rule, follow of F. Now you have to consider the rules in which F appears on the right hand side of the production rules. So if you observe the grammar, F appears here on the right hand side. Okay, here and here, these two production rules. Okay, follow of F is nothing but the first of T dash. First of T dash. What is first of T dash? First of T dash is asterisk and epsilon. Okay, if you observe here, we are not including epsilon in follows. Okay, epsilon in follows. So from this rule, we'll get asterisk. Next, consider this rule. F is followed by T dash also. So what is T dash? First of T dash. First of T dash is asterisk or epsilon. Asterisk or epsilon. Okay. So now if T dash becomes epsilon, then what happens is we have to apply the third rule. If T derives to epsilon, then follow of F is in follow of T. Now you need to compute the follow of T's. T's follows first of E dash. What is first of E dash? First of E dash is plus. Hence why we are getting plus here. Okay. Similarly, E is the starting symbol of the grammar, no? So we'll get dollar. Dollar is the default follow for the starting symbol. Similarly, follow of E is close brace. So that is the reason why we are getting plus, asterisk, close brace and dollar. Okay. So once you compute first and follows for the given grammar, then you need to apply that algorithm. Then you need to apply the previous algorithm. See this one, construction procedure. For each production A to alpha in grammar, do the following. What is what the first rule says? For each terminal A in first of alpha, add A derives in M A comma A. M means the table. M refers to table here. Now see, let us apply the first rule. For each terminal A in first of alpha, for each terminal A, let us consider F derives. Let us consider the first set of F. Okay, here we have F. The first set of F contains F open parenthesis and ID. Okay, so the entry corresponding to F with open parenthesis, F with open parenthesis is this rule. This rule F derives open parenthesis E followed by close parenthesis. Why? Because from this rule only we are getting this first symbol. First symbol. Okay, right? Similarly, for ID, we are getting ID from this rule. F derives ID. So F with ID, you have to add this rule. F derives ID. And F with open parenthesis, you have to add F with grouping of E. Okay, that means whenever the current input symbol is, the current top of the stack is F and the current input symbol is ID, then you have to apply this rule. Expand F with ID. And if the current in top of the stack is F and the current input symbol is open parenthesis, then you have to apply this. F must be expanded with grouping of E. Grouping of E. Right? So while filling the entries in the passing table, we'll consider following information only when if the first of a particular non-terminal contains epsilon. Okay. So if you recall the if you look at the steps, the parser construction procedure, if epsilon is in first of alpha, the second rule states that if epsilon is in first of alpha, then for each terminal B in follow of A. Okay, so whenever you have epsilon in first of some particular non-terminal, here we have E dash and E dash contains epsilon. Okay, if that is the case, then we look into the follow sets. Okay, for each follow set, for each symbol in the follow set of E dash, we'll add a null production rule. E dash derives to epsilon, E dash derives to epsilon corresponding to close parenthesis, and E dash derives to epsilon corresponding to dollar symbol. Okay, let me write here. Let me show you the table again. Now see the entries. Okay, E dash derives to close parenthesis. The corresponding entry with E dash with close parenthesis is null production rule. E dash derives to epsilon. Similarly, E dash derives to dollar. The corresponding entry is null production. Why? Because these entries are coming from the second rule. See the second rule. If epsilon is in first of a particular non-terminal, then for each terminal B in follow of A, add A derives to epsilon. Null production rule. Okay. Similarly, T dash also contains epsilon in the first set. Okay, then we need to consider the follow of T dash. Follow of T dash, we have three symbols, plus and close parenthesis and dollar. For each symbol, we have to add one null production rule with T dash. Okay, for plus, we have added T dash derives to epsilon. For closing parenthesis, we have added T dash derives to epsilon. For dollar, we have added T dash derives to epsilon. Okay, right? So this is what we called LL1 predictive parsing. In LL1 predictive parsing, we'll try to have a predictive parsing table, LL1 predictive parsing table for the Green grammar. The LL1 predictive parsing table will guide you, okay, based on the current input symbol. It will guide you whether we have to expand with this particular production rule, or this particular production rule, or this particular production rule, or like that. Okay. So the parsing decision comes from the current input symbol. Based on the current input symbol, we are predicting, we are expanding, right? If plus happens to be the next input symbol, then you have to apply this rule. If star is happens to be the next input symbol, you have to apply this rule, like this. Okay, that is why it is called LL1 predictive parsing. LL1 predictive parsing. Okay. right? So we'll stop here. If you have any doubt, you can ask now. So if you have any queries or any doubts,